This is the Let's Roll podcast with your host, Double R. What's up, everybody? It's your host, the Rose the Most, Double R, and this is the Let's Roll podcast. So I decided to do an episode. Holy moly, it's 2025. This is season 5 in 2025. Oh, I love to rhyme. Anyway, today's episode is just gonna get you caught up with what I've been up to, um, what I think about what the year might hold for us. Um, just some random thoughts, nothing spectacular. But I wanted to give an episode to start off this year. I have a lot of goals that I want to try to hit this year, and coming off of 2024 was kind of a weird year for me, as far as I've stated in the past that, we got COVID right at the beginning of the year, sort of, and took us down for about a week or two, but it seemed like it had lingering effects after that for a while for us to really get back on track and stuff. And I have so many things going on right now. But let's talk about it more right after this. So as I was saying, I have a lot of things going on, and things that I've let get behind, and so this year is going to be try to stay on track, stay on you know stay on everything basically. So as y'all know from several episodes ago, I started 3D printing, and that's been my whole focus here lately. It's in it. I think I have a little bit of a squirrel syndrome when it comes to it. I get caught up with one. I want to do a little side hustle and make some money at it, and I'm trying to find things that I can print and sell and create and all that. And then I start coming across things that I want to just print for myself, and then I get down that rabbit hole. So I'm having a hard time focusing when it comes to 3D printing, but that's where my focus mainly is. It's just not a clear focus on 3D printing. And then I have Whatnot. I have a bunch of used DVDs and Blu-rays that I have gathered and not collected, but bought and everything to turn around and sell those on Whatnot. And we were doing really good when we first started, but then, like I said, at the end of 2023, going into 2024, is where we hit that roadblock with everything. And we got back on track a little bit with it, but it seemed like a real struggle to keep it going and being motivated and stuff. So I got to get back on track on that and get back on selling on that, because I also would like to use Whatnot to sell 3D things too. So hopefully I can get that accomplished too. And then we have the podcast, and I have really slacked on the podcast, and I didn't get as many episodes as I wanted to get out last season or last year. And when I first started the podcast, I was pumping them out like two a week, 2 to 3 a week, but I had a lot to say at the start of it, because the premise of the podcast was to give you an insight into daily things, or more like life things that I have to go through and deal with, and just random things, and give you a little insight about how it is for me not only being in a wheelchair, but having a why, and living life and things that I have to deal with. And then I kind of got all that information out in the first couple of seasons, And then when it you know got to the fourth season and even into the third season a little bit, it just kind of like, well, I don't know what else to say, you know. Uh, um, Not that I've told you everything, but it was just kind of, I guess, in a way, I lost interest because doing it by myself really sucks. Because I mean, I can talk to you for a while and ramble on, but I really like it when I have either a guest or somebody just doing it with me, like a co-host, you know, someone I can kind of have a conversation with and bounce things back and forth on. And going back to last year with all the different ups and downs, and then at the end of the year losing my friend that I really wanted to get him on the podcast, and I kept telling him, "Hey man, I'm going to get you on the podcast." And I was I guess I was kind of waiting for him to come down to visit so we could do an episode, in the same place. But I also told him, I said, "Well, we could always do it, over the phone, I got the capability to do that, but it just never worked out." And then when I found out that I lost him, I was like, and even till this day, or since I found out, I just periodically think about him and realize he's not here anymore, and I can't call him anymore. I can't do a lot of things, I don't know why it has affected me as much as it has. Not to say that death doesn't affect me, but this really kind of hit home. I guess I don't know. It's been kind of a little bit of a struggle with him, and losing him. So, but now we're in year 2025. We got to get things back on track. And then we got all the things going on in the world right now with California on fire, a old new president coming back into office, which I'm not going to hold back on this one. I'm not really happy about that, but it is what it is, and got to deal with it for the next 4 years. Um, I also got a issue trying to get a new wheelchair, and I have a fundraiser going, a GoFundMe, and I will link them in the description of the podcast. But I need to raise $5,000 so I can get my new wheelchair because that's the part of the insurance that I have to pay. And because I do have insurance, and it will pay 80% of it, but I gotta pay the 20%. And so I gotta, raise that money or come up with a way of doing it. So that's kind of got me down a little bit. Um, I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think the next 4 years is going to be like? Because if you listen to the media and all these news, we're going to have a hell of a time for the next 4 years. I hope we don't. I hope it, you know, not necessarily smooth sailing, but I hope there's no real big hiccups. But we won't know until it's done, I guess. Um, there are some things that I'm worried about that will affect me personally, but I'm the type of person that try not to dwell on things that I can't control and don't worry about them until I have to worry about them until they're here. I'm not much of a prepper or a planner. I just I kind of prep and I kind of plan, but my plans are usually change on a dime that I've just learned to go with the flow. Um, so I'm there's a lot of things on my mind that I'm thinking about, but I try not to dwell on it, and I try to distract myself with all the stuff, other stuff. Um, but man, this 3D printing thing has really got me kind of excited in one way, and kind of got me really distracted in another. Um, but I'm hoping that I can figure out a way to make some money with it and kind of focus on all the things I need to focus on. And I know I keep saying this like a broken record, but I really need to work hard and focus on the podcast. I had so many episodes that I wanted to do last year and tried to get them set up with different people and stuff. But it's probably one of the biggest drawbacks in doing a podcast is being able to get people scheduled and to come on and be a part of the podcast if it's on the discussion of something or something like that. Um, so there was a lot of episodes that I didn't get to do because of that one reason is trying to get somebody, the person I wanted to get them to come on and talk about the topic of that podcast. I couldn't get them, and it, like I said, it's really lack of motivation when I have to be the one to hold the whole show down. And I know I'm probably complaining right now, and I'm sorry that if it comes off that way, but I don't know how to get excited about podcasting like I was because it's just I'm running out of topics. So I guess this year, when it comes to the podcast, I'm gonna try my best to do at least 2 episodes a month. I know I keep cutting it back, and cutting it back, and cutting it back, but if I can try to motivate myself to do 2 episodes a month, like maybe every 2 weeks do an episode, then maybe I'll get the bug back and want to do it more. The other thing is that trying to do 2 episodes a week is kind of rough. So it's either going to be 2 episodes a month or 1 episode a week, and I'm I'm going to commit to the 2 episodes a month starting in February because I might be able to get another one out on this month. Um, but it's I want to make that commitment at least two episodes a month. Um, maybe do 4. It all depends. Um, so I want to get that focused, that focus on that going. And then when it comes to whatnot, I want to try to do at least 1 show a week, possibly 2. But the goal with whatnot is try to get rid of as much of the DVDs and Blu-rays that we have to sell. Try to get rid of those, and so I'll put the link to my whatnot. So if y'all want to come and buy some DVDs or Blu-rays, it'll be on. It'll be in. Click on that link, and you can go see what shows we have scheduled. Probably will start back up and whatnot in February. And that's it. Those are my goals right now. I'm trying to get back on track. I'm trying to get things going. I'm sure things are gonna come up, get in the way, um, and stuff. So let's take a break, and when I come back, let's talk about what's going on in California. So let's talk about what's going on in California. All the wildfires, fires. And sometimes I can't talk. But all the wildfires going on in California, it's crazy, man. I have a relative. I think I have several relatives that live in California, but my aunt Jenny lives in California, and from what I can tell, she's okay. I get a text message from her almost every day, so I'm assuming she's okay. She hasn't called or said anything, posted anything, or anything like that. But it's crazy how this might be a little bit of political talk here, but it's crazy how politics play into this disaster that, in some ways, not couldn't be necessarily controlled. I think I think when one side says, "Well, this could have been avoided," um, you know, if they had better leadership, blah blah blah. Well, avoided is not the word. You could have been better prepared if it wasn't for the leadership, if that's the case. Um, but to say you can avoid this or keep it from happening, uh, yeah, that's not a guarantee. Like, well, if you do this, we won't have forest fires. Well, that's not true because forest fires happen for a lot of different reasons. And then when you have the weather, the type of weather that we're having right now, and uh, I'm not, I believe that climate change is real, but um, how much can we prevent because it's already changing. It's becoming like almost like the damage has already been done, and I'm not saying keep damaging it, but at the same time, it's like how much can we reverse? I don't know. I'm not a smart guy, so I don't I don't know all the ins and outs when it comes to change. But I will say this, that to blame people for something that is beyond your control, saying that they could have prevented it is not the right thing to say, or how to say it. But I understand that one side wants to be the shock and awe party, and they'll just say wild and crazy things to get people riled up, and the people that support that party, or I wouldn't say all of them, because the one thing I hate in life is that we as human beings, we tend to group everybody into one category. If there's one or two people, it's like saying all women are crazy. Well, no, not all women are crazy. Yeah, there are some crazy women out there, but not all of them. It's like all white people are, this or whatever. I hate when people do that. I will say that a lot of the people that support that party will buy into everything that's being said. And I don't buy into everything. I don't buy into everything. I don't even buy into everything that's said on the party that I vote for. And I've made it very clear that I am not just one sided guy. Like if if one side has gone so far from um we'll say reality or common sense or however you want to look at it, then I might lean another way, for a while. But it does not mean that I wouldn't vote for somebody on the other side. So it's just uh, when I was younger, and this is for most, I will say most young people, they don't really think about politics. They don't look at it. They don't look at the issues, uh, or very few issues. I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't really think. I mean, even when I became old enough to vote, I really didn't really think about who I was voting for and why, because I was kind of following my dad's lead at the time. And what little I did pay attention to kind of kept me on that road for a little while. And then I didn't vote. At least I don't remember voting for like almost 10 years or 8 years, whatever it is. And then as I got older though, when I get really into my adult years, that's when I kind of started paying attention. And I I voted for more change. And when I say change, I don't mean like, oh well, I'm gonna vote for this old guy because I'm tired of this other old guy. I try to change for for a if I don't feel that things are going right, then it's time for a change. It doesn't mean that the change that I vote for is going to be even any better. And it's debatable if it was better or worse. It's perspective. It's what you perceive to be good or bad. You know, um, Perception is everything. Is we could two people could be looking at the same thing, and I might look at it, and my perception is, well, that's a good thing, and the person next to me is looking at it going, no, that's a bad thing. But it's just a perception of your perception and opinion at the time, and opinions change, perceptions change, attitudes change. Something I might have said 10, 20 years ago, my personality and the way I thought 20 years ago is way different than what I probably think today. At least as far as I can tell, I don't think a lot of the same ways as I did when I was young. So it is what it is, you know. I hope and pray everything will be okay. Nothing catastrophic. Catastrophic. You know what I'm trying to say. I hope nothing bad happens, and and that we can make it through, and you know, I do my part. When it's time to vote, I go vote. Um, so I don't know, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be a crazy time for like several years. Another thing I wanted to get back on track with, because I fell off at the end of the last year, is I have a Cinemark movie club, and so if you see if you buy 60 tickets or go see basically 25 movies, I think it is, whichever one you do first, the following year you become a platinum member. And then the way to keep that, you got to do the same thing every year. Well, I became a platinum member at the end of 2023. I became a platinum member for 2024. Well, I was 9 movies away from being able to carry my platinum status into this year. Well, I things happened and I wasn't able to go see all. It's not that so much some things happened. It was just like there wasn't a whole lot of movies that came out that I really wanted to go see. And this year looks like it's going to be quite a few movies I'll go see this year. Um, so, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, but there's a lot of movies that I think I'll be seeing this year. So hopefully I can get that platinum status for 2026. I do like going to the movies. I don't necessarily like going by myself, but I will. Um, it's so hard to be able to get people to go and wanting to go and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I'll probably go see a lot of movies this year. Um, so anyway, that's all I got on my mind right now. It's a short one this time. Like I said, I will have all the links to everything down in the description below. I do have an Etsy shop for my 3D printing. I have 2 items on there if anybody's interested to go look at them. And one is a keychain that is for uh, Wishbone Day, which is going to be in May. Wishbone organization or whatever, I took their logo maybe into a keychain. And so I have that on my Etsy shop, and whatever money I raise from selling those, I'm going to give some of it. I'll donate it back to OI Foundation on the keychain that is. And then the other item is a hook, a wall hook that I designed that will hold grabbers, um, like grabbers or reachers that I use to pick things up off the floor and stuff. I didn't really have a place to put my grabbers that would one look nice and two would be up out of the way and be easy for me to grab when I needed them. So I created this hook and I decided to put it on Etsy for people that might like it. So I haven't sold any of those yet. I sold like a few keychains, but anyway, I'll have that down there. I'll have the whatnot thing down there. So I have those uh, links in the description. And as always, make sure that you go and check out the podcast website at www.theletsrollpodcast.com. Give me some feedback. Send me, comment, give me comments, ask me questions, whatever. Maybe I'll read them on the next episode. Also, the other thing I'll put in the link in the description below is a link to my YouTube channel for not only for the podcast but for my 3D printing. I'm not gonna put that in every episode deal, but I'll put it in this one just so it's there and people can click on if they're interested. But as always, until next time, let's roll.
Hey, this is Paula, and you're listening to the Let's Roll podcast with host Double R. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media. Find links in the description below or at theletsrollpodcast.com.